Radio check, radio check. We should be live. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and welcome along to the coverage of Free Practice 1 here in Abu Dhabi. Let me just get up the most recent data up on the screen. Alright, in fact, the most recent data is just loading up. Right, give it just a second. But yeah, here we are at the final race of the season. We have free practice starting in 15 minutes' time. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and we're going to have 6 rookies taking part in today's Free Practice 1 session, so it should be pretty exciting to see how the rookies get on and how they progress, and if they make any mistakes and things like that. I'll run you through all of the rookies that are taking part, and we'll be underway very, very shortly. Yeah. Okay, I'll run you through all of the rookies. So firstly, we've got Esteban Ocon, who has left Alpine one race early. Um, yeah, he's left Alpine one race early, and Jack Doohan will be taking his role in Alpine. So Doohan's driving in the free practice one session and for the rest of the weekend, really. Then we have Charles Leclerc's brother, Arthur Leclerc. He'll also be driving for Ferrari. And you can see there, Charles Leclerc's brother is in 13th place on the timing board. And his short is LEL rather than LEC like Leclerc's is. Then driving for Red Bull, they have Isaac Hadjar, who is currently a Formula 2 driver, doing pretty well in Formula 2. And, we'll get some testing time in a Formula 1 car, and they'll be thinking about promoting him next year. Then, who else do we have? In 11th place, we have Felipe Drogovic. He'll be driving the Aston Martin, taking Lance Stroll's Aston Martin, and in fact, Felipe Drogovic last year in Free Practice 1, when he also took part, he ended up in second position in Free Practice 1, so maybe we can see what he can do this year. Yeah. All right. What's your opinion on the beef between Russell and Max? I'm enjoying. Oh yeah, it's pretty funny to watch the two drivers fight. I'm sure there'll be some on track action as well if they end up side by side if they end up near each other on the circuit. But I'll get into that. I'll get into that later. Yeah. No, I haven't seen the Merc tribute clip for Lewis, but I will. I will watch it. In between FP1 and FP2. Um, all right. So this, and then the other rookie that we have driving for McLaren, who's actually 30 years old. He's not very well. He's not very young. He's actually the oldest rookie that's taking part. Is Ryo Hirakawa. He has won the 24 Hours of Le Mans in 2022, and he's also tested the Formula One car. Yeah, in 2023 he tested the 2021 Formula One car with Pato O'Ward. So this will be his first time driving the new regulation cars. Yeah, and he's going to be taking Oscar Piastri's seat for FP1, and replacing Alex Albon, they have another junior driver at Williams. I don't know how bold of it. That's a pretty bold choice replacing Albon, but they are putting in Luke Browning, a British driver, and he's joined the Williams Driver Academy at the end of 2023, and he's only raced in 3 Formula 2 races at the end of the season, and then was third place in Formula 3 this year, and he's going to be taking part in the FP1 session. Will we see some donuts at the end of the race? Yeah, we will probably. Probably from Max for winning the championship. Maybe from the McLarens if they win the constructors, or if the Ferraris win the constructors, maybe they will get some donuts from them. Yeah. All right. Who do you think is going to get the World Drivers' Championship, well, if we look at the point standings, McLaren are 21 points ahead of Ferrari. And, well, Ferrari, if they want to win the championship, they're going to have to they're going to have to be 22 points ahead of McLaren in this race. So unless there's a severe issue down at McLaren and they like double DNF or they just have no pace, then there's a chance that Ferrari could win. However, it looks pretty unlikely, and things are looking good for McLaren. Yeah. Track reports for the race. Well, currently there's not much track reports because the race currently it's still daytime in Abu Dhabi, and that means that the conditions are going to be much hotter than they are at the race. So there's no point doing any track reports right now. Track temperature 42 degrees, air temperature 28 degrees. Both of those will drop by the time we get to FP2, and during the time the race is taking place as well, it'll be a lot lower. Alright, folks, also, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. It hugely helps out the channel. We're getting, hopefully we can hit 1,000 likes for the end of this live stream. Is Carlos going to test the Williams car today? No, he is not. I think Ferrari are keeping him for media duties, and because of that, he can't drive the Williams. And yeah, he's not taking part in the postseason test, but that's because the postseason test is for rookie drivers. So Sainz he'll only drive the Williams either in the simulator or at the start of preseason testing next year. Okay. What else have we? It's gonna be like Ralph and Michael being both at Ferrari, and it's Leclerc and yeah, it's Charles and Arthur. Indeed, that is exactly how it is. What else have we got going on? Not much really. 7 minutes now till we get underway for free practice. The drivers will make their way to the end of the pit lane soon enough. We'll have the normal free practice sessions, free practice 1, 2, and 3. So we're not going to see that much action in free practice 1, given that the tire temperatures and the track temperatures are not going to be anything similar to the race, which makes it kind of ideal for the rookies. They have a session that they don't have to do any real data gathering, because most of the data gathering is done in free practice 2 this weekend. And yeah, it's a good time for them to just, get a feel for the car, show what they're made of, and hopefully not crash it. That will be top concern for the Williams driver, Luke Browning, because Williams probably don't have enough spare parts already. They are already running on some scraps, and I think damaging that even further would severely hurt his chances of getting into a Formula 1 seat in the future. Who replaced Sonoda? We have got the driver that replaced Sonoda is Iwasa. Let me just check what his first name is. Ayumu Iwasa, who's also part of the Red Bull Driver Academy. He has replaced Yuki Tsunoda for this free practice 1 session. Yes, and in other news, we have got Sergio Perez. Finally, the rumours have come out, and they are suggesting that Sergio Perez will be losing his seat at the end of the year, and it will be someone else to replace him. So that most likely means that if Sergio Perez is leaving, the main candidates for his replacement are either going to be Yuki Tsunoda or Liam Lawson. And if they want to look outside of the Red Bull Driver Academy, then they have Valtteri Bottas as a potential option, and they also have Kevin Magnussen as a potential option. Those two drivers are out of the seat for next year, so they are currently available. I think Bottas will most likely be taking up reserve driver roles at Mercedes, and Kevin Magnussen will be switching over to endurance racing. However, I'm sure if they were offered a seat at Red Bull, they would very quickly change their minds. So we shall see what happens with those two drivers. But if they're looking just within the Red Bull Driver Academy, it's going to be either Tsunoda or Liam Lawson. And Lawson has been performing quite well, given that he's a rookie and he's only taken part in a couple of races. He has been doing a pretty good job of well, just a pretty good job in general of keeping up with Sonoda. Sometimes out qualifying him, sometimes losing out to him, but he has a real shot at this. I don't think it's just clear cut Sonoda. I mean, Sonoda has got a lot more experience in Formula One, which I think they would want at Red Bull, but that's not to say that they will totally discount Liam Lawson, because sometimes when you just come into Formula One immediately and you show this raw pace, the team sort of believes in you a little bit more, and then they can say, "Oh, we know this guy is quick, but." He may not be as experienced as everyone else, but we can fix those issues. Whereas you can't really add to the raw pace of drivers after a certain point. All right. Are you following Formula 2? Not right now. No, I haven't watched Formula 2 in a little while. Thoughts on the Max and Russell situation? I think it's pretty funny. I'll give some more thoughts later on. But yeah, I mean, it's just a little bit of off-track beef, and I'm sure they'll have it figured out on the circuit when one of them crashes into another. All right, and could you please tell the full name of all the drivers? Will do, will do. Thanks for always streaming and all the info. Can't afford super chat, but support it very much is appreciated just for the meme. Loving the practice race coverage. Will this be continuing into 2025? Yes, I most likely will be doing practice. I can't guarantee that I'll be able to do every single practice session. However, I will do my best and try and do as many as I can. All right, the tyres that we've got from Pirelli this weekend are the C5, the C4, and the C3, the softest of their range. So we're going to have, the softest tyres from Pirelli. They might struggle a little bit in the high temperatures of the morning, but when it comes to the nighttime race, they will be ideally suited. Wind of 11.5 kilometers an hour. Of course, Yas Marina is quite close to the sea, so there's a little bit of wind blowing around here and there, but it's pretty consistent and shouldn't be too much of an issue for the drivers. And then we have got 41 degrees track temperature, 27 degrees air temperature, and pretty standard stuff, really. Fernando Alonso has just been asked over the radio to go down to the end of the pit lane, and he's going to turn off his engine when he gets down. Okay, will you stream the 2025 season? Yeah, I will. I will be streaming the next season as well. All right. So I shall tell you guys the full names of all of the rookie drivers taking part today. So at McLaren, we have Ryo Hirakawa. He is 30 years old, and he's won the 24 hours of Le Mans. And yeah, he's taking part in the FP1 session in place of Oscar Piastri. Then we have Arthur Leclerc, brother of Charles Leclerc, and he is taking Carlos Sainz's seat for free practice 1 and free practice 1 only. And then is Sainz, wait, is this free practice 1 or is this the whole weekend? Oh no, I think it's the whole weekend. Let me double check if it's Sainz is sitting out for the whole weekend or if it's just free practice 1. I think Sainz is. Oh no, Sainz is still driving. Yeah, Sainz is still driving. It's just Arthur Leclerc for free practice 1. Got a little bit confused there. In the article that I'm reading, it wasn't particularly clear. Anyway, Isaac Hadjar will be driving for Red Bull. He is taking Max Verstappen's seat. Then we have Felipe Drogovic, who will be driving the Aston Martin. He'll be taking Lance Stroll's seat. Then we have got... let me just get rid of this timer. We're about 30 seconds away from the start of free practice 1. Then we have Ayumu Uwasa, who will be taking part and replacing Yuki Tsunoda for free practice 1, and he'll be driving the RB. And then we have Luke Browning, who will be driving the Williams in place of Alex Albon. Okay. What exactly happened between Russell and Max? Short recap is fine. Well, just for the meme, I'd appreciate it if you haven't sent that message about 100 times, but well, you didn't send it 100 times, but you sent it about 7, 8 times. So, um, yeah. What happened between Russell and Max? They have once Russell went over to the steward's office in Qatar to complain about Max driving too slowly. Max was like, well, Max said some pretty aggressive stuff to Russell. Then Russell came out to the media being like, "Oh, Max is always saying this kind of stuff, and I'm not going to put up with it." And then Verstappen was like, "Oh, Russell's a bully, and sometimes he's to the media he's all nice and happy, but behind closed doors he's a totally different person." And there's just been more and more stuff that's been said, and well, it's not really that all important, but it's kind of funny to watch. So yeah, there we go. All right, pit lane exit is open. We've got drivers making their way out onto the circuit, and we'll get the tyre information coming through shortly. But yes, all the drivers now making their way out, and they'll be doing their install laps, checking everything works just as normal, and then they will be getting on with their run plans. Okay. Jack doing predictions. Yeah, well, Jack Doohan's taking part in the whole race weekend, actually, because Esteban Ocon is not taking part for the whole race weekend. He's been, he's left Alpine early, or he's been kicked out early, whatever you want to say. And it'll be Jack Doohan driving for the remainder of the season, and we shall see what he can do. Well, remainder of the season, I mean the last race of the season, but he's on the medium tyres right now. He'll have to get a feel for the car and slowly build up his confidence. By the time he gets to quali, he wants to be very confident in the car and know where the limits are. Then he can push it and get some good pace out of it. So we'll wait and see what he can do. Have I enabled adverts? No, adverts are disabled as always. I think when you click on the live stream, you'll always get an advert. I can't do anything about that. But when the live stream is going on, you won't get any adverts. All right. Why is Carlos not there? Carlos is sitting out for free practice 1 while Arthur Leclerc takes his seat. Okay. And yeah, all the drivers just doing their install laps now. They're coming in on their pit limiters. In fact, we've got quite a few aero rakes here. The team's looking to just gather some information off the front of the car. I think McLaren have got some aero rakes, so have RB. I think they might just be doing some end of season correlation testing, make sure that what their predictions were with all of the upgrades put on were lining up with what they think what's actually happening in real life. So their predictions in CFD is matching what's happening in real life, experimental data. All right, we've got K-Mag on a flying lap. Look at that, purple in the first sector, purple in the second sector, going very, very nicely indeed. And we'll see what he can do. All right, Arthur Leclerc as well. Yeah, he's got a aero rake on the rear of the car just before the rear tires will. And there we go, K-Mag across the line, a 127.7 from him. All right, Arthur Leclerc. So if we have a look at his racing career in 2021, he took part in Formula 3 in Prima, ended up in 10th place. In 2022, did the same thing and was in 6th position. Then in 2023, was in Formula 2 in the Dams team, was in 15th position, not all that quick. And then he went to Italian GT and finished in 1st place in 2024. So that is Arthur Leclerc's driving career up until this point. Oh, we've got a yellow flag. Who is that? Isaac Hadjar has had an issue. What's he said over the radio? Wheel clearance is bad. I'm struggling. I don't know exactly what that means, but Isaac Hadjar going slowly at turn number 6 and 7. I think he's moving again. Yes, he is. We'll get a replay soon enough. All right. Yeah, George Russell's on a flying lap there. Purple in the first sector. Bottas across the line, 2nd place. Hulkenberg, 3rd place. And Arthur Leclerc on the soft tyres, still 6 seconds off the pace, slowly building up to attacking the car to the limit. And I'm sure he's probably not even using DRS up until this point. Okay. And then here we go, George Russell, purple in the middle sector as well. And he's, I don't think he is using DRS, 323 kilometers an hour. Maybe he is using DRS actually. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, he makes his way now through the final sector for the last couple of corners. Hamilton goes top of the timing, so 1:27.4, but George Russell is looking pretty quick as well. Sergio Perez as well, purple in the middle sector. Norris across the line, 6th place for him. He goes, well, he's 25 seconds off the pace, so not much to read into there. And George Russell goes half a second quicker than his teammate. Nicely done. Hadjar comes across the line after having his spin. And we've got Sergio Perez to come across the line for his first lap as well. Why no picks of the new drivers on the radio? Because the drivers haven't had... I don't know, it wasn't really expected that all of these drivers would be taking part, and we didn't know in advance which drivers would be taking part, so they just don't have any photos. I'm sure for next season, any of the new drivers joining will have their photos put in place promptly. Okay. What else have we got going on? Yeah, I think it was just a spin there for Isaac Hadjar. I think nothing too out of the ordinary, really. Just your standard spin down at turn number 7. If we look at Jack Doohan's racing career, he finished 2021 in F3 in 2nd place, in 2022 6th place in Formula 2, in 2023 3rd place in Formula 2, and now in 2024 he's been an Alpine F1 reserve driver, so he's been doing all of the simulator work on the weekends, getting the setup perfect and ready for Ocon and Gasly to drive around, and now he himself will get to drive around in this race weekend, and well, we'll see what he can do. Okay, Russell's come over the radio saying the cockpit feels very hot. Yeah, it will in Abu Dhabi for certain. Abu Dhabi is going to be one of those Grand Prix where it is a little bit hotter. And given that it is the morning session as well, track temperature 42 degrees, air temperature 28. Come the night race, it'll be a lot cooler, but there's not much the drivers can do about it. F1 Gamer, do you have a Discord? Yeah, I do. However, I only have a Discord for Patreon members. Max is sitting out of FP1. Isaac Hadjar is driving for the free practice 1 session, and yeah. Any news on Daniel Ricciardo maybe joining any team? God, I miss that guy. I don't think so, really. I think Daniel Ricciardo has come to the end of his Formula 1 racing career. I'm sure he could join other categories and do successfully. However, Formula 1's a pretty ruthless world, and given that he's had quite a few second chances and still been unable to deliver, I think that will seal the deal and close the door for Daniel Ricciardo rejoining Formula 1. Okay. What is wrong with your voice? My voice is pretty fine. Pretty standard stuff for my voice, to be honest. And yeah. Alright. Also, folks, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. We've got 2,000 people watching. Hopefully we can hit 1,000 likes by the end of the stream. And if you are enjoying the coverage, then be sure to tune in to the future free practice 1, future free practice 2, 3, and then quali in the race, of course. Isn't Charles coming out? No, currently sat in the garage. There's some issues going down at the Ferrari garage, and the mechanics are working on Leclerc's car. It's currently up on the stilts, so Leclerc won't be coming out for at least the next 5 minutes or so, because, yeah, some issues with his car, unfortunately. How's your day going, mate? It's going pretty alright, really. It's quite well. It's early for a Formula 1 session here in the UK, 9 a.m. But yeah, got out of bed, had some breakfast, and here I am commentating. Alright, we still have Isaac Hadjar saying that he's struggling with the wheel clearance. Everything else is fine, the steering wheel's fine, but his legs don't have enough space, and I think the steering wheel also, with his turning clearance. I'm not sure exactly what he means by that, but essentially, you know, the cars are designed around very certain dimensions, especially of the drivers. I think Perez and Max are of similar heights. I don't know how tall Isaac Hadjar is, but yeah, he could be just could be suffering from just not fitting into the car properly, and they'll have to consider that when they design the RB, and they'll have to modify the seat dimensions and stuff like that to make sure that it's a comfortable fit for the drivers. It's Felipe Drogovic who's driving for Aston Martin, replacing Lance Stroll for the free practice 1 session. Yeah. All right. So we've had the first couple of times come through. Now everyone is just on medium tires, doing long runs by the looks of it. I think Russell is still going pretty quick here. Purple first sector for him, and the rest of the drivers, though, they're doing slow laps as of now. I think a couple are on flyers, but we'll wait and see. Who replaced Oscar Rio Hirakawa? It's just for the free practice 1 session. And yeah, he's the oldest rookie that's joining us today. He's 30 years old, but he has won Le Mans 24 hours. So yeah, he's a pretty well experienced racing driver, just not in Formula 1. And well, he is taking part in this free practice 1 session. How many rookies do we have in this session? We have 6 rookies out in this session. So you'll add up, well, we'll go from the top. We'll have firstly Rio Hirakawa, that's 1, then Arthur Leclerc, that's 2, Isaac Hadjar, that's 3, Felipe Drogovic, that's 4, Ayumu Iwasa, that's 5, then we have Luke Browning, that's 6, and then of course we have Jack Doohan as well, so that's actually 7. Yeah. 7 rookies in the free practice 1 session. All right. Luke Browning driving away in that Williams car, number 46. He gets a bit of a locks the rears on the entry going into turn number 7 there. I think that's pretty similar to what Isaac Hadjar did. It's quite easy to lock the rears on that corner. We've seen it happen quite a few times, but the drivers, in the end, they just switch their brake balance a little bit further forward, and then they don't lock the rears as they go into turn number 7. It sounds not racing. Science is racing. He'll just be taking part in the. He'll be taking part from free practice 2 onwards. All right, Colapinto across the line, 7th place for him. Russell still improving there. He's 4/10 up on his previous time. Perez came across the line, 2nd place for him. Valtteri Bottas is looking very quick as well. I mean, he's still a second off George Russell. I think everyone is on totally different run plans given the number of rookies on the circuit. And we shall see what the Sauber's pace look like. Maybe they can score points again. And maybe it'll be Valtteri Bottas this time to score some points. Rio Hirakawa has missed the McLaren pit box, braked a little bit too early, and they were waiting for him a little bit further on, but they have just modified some settings to the aero rake, and he's got going again. Very, very nice. Okay. Do F1 cars all have ABS or traction control? No, they have neither. It used to be that Formula 1 cars would have traction control, however, that has been removed, and ABS also is not allowed in Formula 1 cars. So we have, drivers locking up, and we do also have drivers spinning. Alright, as Sonoda once said, this is traffic paradise. Indeed it is. I mean, we're going to have a lot of drivers going slowly, a lot of rookies not going up to maximum pace because, well, they haven't got a proper feel for the car. And I'm sure they won't be used to looking at the tiny mirrors in Formula 1 cars and having no visibility of the drivers behind them. Which rookies do you think will come in 2026? Well, 2026 is way too far to predict, because we also do have a new team joining Formula One in 2026. So yeah, unfortunately, I don't know. I'd love to answer your question, but yeah, I honestly have no idea. Do you think Bottas will? Lando Norris getting stuck behind, um, stuck behind one of the Mercs as traffic. I'm not sure if it was Russell or if it was Hamilton, but yeah, if it was Russell, then I would say Russell was going too slowly and deserves a one-place grid penalty. Yeah. All right. Do you think Bottas will take up the Mercedes reserve driver place? I think he will, as long as it doesn't take too much of a time commitment away from him, where he has to spend every single day in the factory. If it's just the weekends, or if it's just Friday night, Saturday night that he has to do in the factory, then I'm sure Bottas would be fine with doing that. Did you hear the news? Max is going to be a father? No, I've not heard the news. I don't even know if that's true, but sounds good. It's not really relevant to Formula One, but I guess it kind of is, but I don't know. Yeah. All right. Who is HIR? It's Rio Hirokara, and he is driving for McLaren for FP1. It's true. Okay, fair enough. When is Yuki testing in Red Bull? We don't know yet. We don't know if Yuki will be testing in Red Bull. The rumours are currently it's either Yuki or Colapinto that are going to replace Sergio Perez. Not Yuki or Colapinto, Yuki or Lawson. Colapinto is out of the running apparently. But yes, if Perez is leaving, then it's going to be Yuki or Lawson. I think they're just going to look at the previous performances where both drivers have been driving the same car, see how both drivers have performed, take into account any bad scenarios or bad luck that the drivers have had, and then make their decision based off that. I think one other thing they might try and do is also put both drivers in the Red Bull simulator, because as we know, the Red Bull car is very twitchy, very sensitive, and not all that stable. So if it turns out that Yuki Tsunoda is quicker than quicker in a normal car, but then Liam Lawson's quicker in a Red Bull type car where the rear is super slidey and not all that stable, then I think they might put Lawson in the car. So they might even do a test in the Red Bull simulator. But I'm sure there'll be an awful lot of pressure there for Tsunoda and Lawson. Both drivers, they know that when they go into the Red Bull factory and they do a test in their simulator, it's going to be, those lap times are going to be the lap times that define whether they're going to get into the team or not. So we'll wait and see what happens. But we've got the whole winter break to find out who is going to be... Yeah, we've got the whole winter break to find out who's going to be driving for Red Bull next year. BRO is Luke Browning. Yeah. Do you think Doohan will do good in this race? I don't know. I don't think the Alpine is all that quick overall. Like Gasly's been doing well, but Gasly's on fantastic form, has had quite a few years in Formula One. So I don't think Doohan will score any points or anything like that. But if he comes across the line and he's not in last place, I think that's a job well done and hasn't crashed the car as well. It should be just enough. Given that it's the first race of the season, it doesn't really matter that much. All right. Quick question: whose driver number would be on the cars when the rookies are testing? Would it be the current one? Would it be the one currently driving or the owner of the car? No, it's always the driver. It's always the number of the driver that is actually driving the car. So the teams just have stickers they peel off. For example, Lance Stroll, they'll peel off the Lance Stroll stickers for his number, and then they'll put on Felipe Drogovic's stickers for his number. They don't have to repaint the car or anything like that. It's just stickers for the driver numbers. All of the sponsors, I'm sure, will be painted on because it's lighter that way, but they'll have stickers for the driver numbers because they know that every so often they do have to change them. All right. Your thoughts on the Max George conflict? Well, I mean, this is the thing. it was a little petty from George to sort of go to the steward's room and get Max penalised for driving just a little bit slowly when George was on a slow lap as well. Like if George was on a fast lap, sure enough, makes sense. His lap got ruined and then Max had to get a penalty for it. But if George was on a slow lap, there was literally no need to go to the stewards and complain about Max driving too slowly. However, he did. That obviously annoyed Verstappen. I think it would annoy anyone really. And then Verstappen made some rather aggressive comments to George, and then now George has made some statements to the media, and then Max has made some opposite statements to the media. And honestly, it's just quite funny to watch. Like, sure, there's not going to be that much. I think it's just quite funny to watch, really. I don't know what happens behind closed doors. I don't know who's a good person, who's not. But for the on-track action, it'll be great. You know, if Russell and Verstappen are on the same piece of tarmac trying to overtake each other, then I'm sure we'll get rather argy-bargy as the drivers go and try and overtake each other and squeeze them right into the wall. It will be very, very fun to watch. And I'm much more happy about that. I'm not really too bothered about the beef and them complaining to the media about each other. It's quite funny, really. Okay. Hamilton across the line, third place for him. He did that a minute or so ago. Collins is up in fifth place. Nice job there from the rookie. And Leclerc's still in the pits. He's still having some issues with his car, and that means that he's going to be sitting out. Well, he's already sat out 20 minutes of the free practice 1 session, and it still looks like he'll be sitting out some more. LEL is Arthur Leclerc. Arthur Leclerc is Charles Leclerc's brother. All right, we've got Arthur Leclerc out on soft tires. He's on. He's done a 1:29.1, which is 4 seconds off the pace. But I'm sure there will be. I don't even know if he's using DRS. I don't know how hard he really is attacking, but I think the main aim for him is don't crash the car and don't ruin Sainz this weekend, because he will have crashed the car. So, yeah. Hamilton looking very, very quick, though, as he makes his way through the final sector now. He's got Gasly ahead for traffic, but Gasly gets out of the way nicely, I think. And Hamilton continues on with his flying lap. Just out the final 2 corners. There will be track limits issues at turn number 15 and 16. Those 2 corners are quite tricky for the track limits, but the FIA will have their sensors on the white line, and we'll see if any drivers do get their lap time deleted. Hamilton, though, does go across the line, and it is a 1:25.566. He goes 5 milliseconds faster than his teammate, and up into first position. Leclerc still isn't on track because he's having some issues with his car. That's about the extent that I know. Ferrari mechanics were still working away on his car at the start of free practice 1. And I'm guessing just before they probably started up the engine or something, saw on some sensors that they are giving the incorrect readings, and they have to take apart the car and check everything's fine, because they don't want to have an exploding engine at the last race of the season, especially if they do want to win the Constructors' Championship. They're going to need both cars to do that, and yeah, they don't want a DNF at the last race of the season. So I think it's just being safe rather than sorry. And Leclerc has driven at this circuit more than enough times. He's not going to be missing out on critical track time for him. And anyway, free practice 2 is the most important session of the 3 practice sessions, because that is the practice session that overlaps with the race and qualifying times. So that means that the track conditions will actually be representative of qualifying in the race. Otherwise, there'd be no point in yeah. That's why they're just sitting out in the garage. Okay. Is there any regulations for steering wheel designs? Can the team make whatever they want? Yeah, the teams can do basically whatever they want. It's not really. I mean, yeah, the teams can basically do whatever they want. They can put the buttons wherever they want. They can have the screen how big they want. They can put the screen on the car and just have the steering wheel rotate. Or yeah, they can do all manner of things. It's totally up to the drivers. I'm sure the FIA will say certain things like, oh, you're not allowed to have sharp bits pointing at the steering wheel in case of a crash. But past that, the teams have pretty much complete freedom. Okay. Oh, we've got a replay here of Arthur Leclerc just as he's driving over the exit curb there. The car twitches ever so slightly. And yeah, those curbs are a little bit vicious, and the drivers do have to be careful around those, especially on the exit of turn number 9 there. Leclerc's in the pits, not on the track. Yeah, Leclerc is having issues with his car, so that is why he's in the pits. Okay. Don't know if you've addressed it already, but exactly how sure are we that Perez won't be here in 2025? Like, where did the rumors come from? I think, well, this is the thing. There are rumors. However, I think these ones are far more substantiated on reality, because now they are genuinely starting to consider Tsunoda or Lawson. Before it was just like, oh, we're going to get rid of Perez, and they would discuss absolutely nothing about who's going to replace him. But now they are already looking for replacements. So I think that puts a little bit more pressure on Perez, and it puts a little bit more confidence in the regulations. Not the regulations, sorry, the rumors. Basically, just saying that, oh, this is actually going to happen. But once again, we have no official statement, and the only official statement we'll get is one Instagram post saying, "Oh, Sergio Perez will be leaving the team," and then we'll get another Instagram post being like, "F1 breaking news: Yuki Tsunoda joins Red Bull and Isaac Hadjar joins RB," or something like that. Yeah. Max is sat in the garage while Isaac Hadjar, the Formula 2 rookie, drives his car around. So we've got Isaac Hadjar and Arthur Leclerc both out there on soft tyres, and they're 2.7 seconds off the pace, both of them. But yeah, they'll be getting a feel for the car and don't want to push the limits too much. Otherwise, they'll crash the car, and the teams won't be happy about that. Shit, by the way, you forgot to count one rookie, Fernando Alonso. Yeah, I did forget about Fernando Alonso, the rookie. But yeah, he's in 6th position right now, doing pretty well. The Aston looking fairly quick, but of course this is free practice 1, and the most accurate data that we'll get will be in free practice 2. All right. But everyone else just driving around doing their standard run plans, really. Yeah. Okay. What else have we got to talk about? Well, we can talk about the season so far. In fact, the entire season, apart from this race, is behind us. And what I must say, what a fantastic season it has been. So much action from start to finish. And well, I would say from the start we still had Verstappen dominating. However, after his domination finished around about Miami, we had so much action, so many different drivers winning races, so much chaos, and a fantastic season in general, really. I'd say this is one of the best seasons that I've watched. Of course, 2021 was on a totally another level, with 2 drivers going into the final race season equal on points. But yeah, I would say the yeah, I'd say that this season has been right up there as well. All right, if we look at Isaac Hadjar's racing career, we have got in 2021, in 2022, he raced in Formula 3, ended up in 4th place. In 2023, he raced in Formula 2, ended up in 14th place, and currently in 2024 he's racing in Formula 2 in Campos Racing and is 2nd place in the drivers' standings. However, the final race of the season is still yet to finish for Formula 2, so we'll see if Isaac Hadjar wins it or if it's Gabriel Bortoleto. Hadjar currently on a flying lap here, doing pretty nicely. He's just coming ahead of Norris there, and now across the final corner. Where does Isaac Hadjar go? Currently 17th up into 5th. A nice job there, half a second off the pace, but that, you'd have to take that into account that he's on softs. Hamilton's fastest lap was on mediums. In fact, Russell here is about to set fastest lap on soft tyres as well, so we'll see what he can do. But yeah, fastest first sector, fastest second sector for Russell. Perez took that away now, and Norris has taken away the fastest first sector, so Russell not looking all that quick compared to the rest of the drivers, but nonetheless, across the line he goes, and it's first place, and he goes 2/10 quicker than his teammate, who was on medium tyres. So yeah, a bit of a bad lap there for Russell, I think. The softs should be around about 4/10 quicker than the mediums, and Russell, in fact, got a bit of traffic as well as he just came across the line, which doesn't help him out in any way. Alright, Perez came across the line. That was 3rd place for him. We'll see what Norris can do. We've got a yellow flag on the circuit, and that's been cleared up pretty quick. Don't think that was a real yellow flag, really. But yeah, Lando Norris now makes his way through turn number 11 and 12. One of those tricky corners where you got to turn and hit the brakes very, very close to each other, but he manages it quite nicely. And the cars are getting quicker and quicker each year, so you can brake later and later, and you can still get away with it. So turn 11 isn't that much of an issue. And then he makes his way through turn number 15, stays within track limits. Turn number 16, hits that apex nicely. Across the line he comes, and it looks like it's going to be top of the times there for Lando Norris. He goes 0.8 of a second quicker than George Russell. Fantastic lap there from Lando. I suspect he's probably got a little bit less fuel compared to the Mercs, but nonetheless, a nice job indeed. And I think maybe he exceeded track limits at the final corner. I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think the FIA would really delete the laps anyway, given that it is free practice and not the race. Okay. Right. Opinion on adding a team? Yeah, I think adding a team is fantastic. We're going to have more drivers on the circuit, more action, more chaos, and more drivers close to each other in terms of race pace, which means more overtaking. So, yeah, it's a no-brainer, really. More cars, more action. All right, Charles Leclerc finally comes out onto the circuit. We've had his brother Arthur Leclerc driving around for quite a while, but Charles Leclerc had some issues with his car. Ferrari have finally fixed those, and now Leclerc makes his way out onto the circuit for his first install lap. He'll make his way back into the pits, check everything is working just fine, and then he'll be on his way to do some more testing. Why is Hirakawa always pitted? Well, in fact, you say that, and he's just come out of the pits now. He's come out onto medium tyres, and we'll see what he can do. Yeah. All right. Leclerc goes across the line, 17th place for him. He's not really looking to attack, he's looking to just start doing some long runs, I'm guessing. I think they don't even need an install lap. The rear of the car really twitching around there for Leclerc. Looks like the temperatures aren't up in the correct window. Should have CLE and ALE. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't think it really matters. I think I think we'll get used to it pretty quickly. For one race weekend, we'll have a bunch of questions. Who is LEL? And then after that, everyone will know LEL is Arthur Leclerc. Who is in the future World Driver Championship possibility, Lando or Piastri? And honestly, I've got to. Well, if we just look at this season so far, Lando Norris 349 points, Oscar Piastri 291 points. So the two drivers have got a 50 points difference in between them. However, given that it's Piastri's second season in Formula One and it's Lando's, I don't know, I think it's his seventh, I'm not exactly sure, but it's been, no, not seventh, sixth or fifth, I'm not sure, but Lando's raced in Formula One more than Piastri has, and yeah, so I'm going to say that it is, I think Piastri will have, both drivers are very equally matched for the World Drivers' Championship. However, as we saw this season, both drivers don't have the extra, the extra X factor that Max Verstappen or Lewis Hamilton or Seb Vettel or Fernando Alonso had. They don't have that just yet at this point in their career. They can still develop that. Lando Norris can do a lot of work over the winter break and potentially find that X factor, get a little bit quicker, have a little bit more consistency. So if Norris can find that, if Piastri can find that, then I think that will make them contenders for the World Drivers' Championship. But currently at this state, we've seen them with the fastest car on the grid still unable to match Max Verstappen and consistently beat him. All right. Russell's saying that his brakes aren't working in optimal fashion, and he's saying that when he comes into the pit box, the brakes feel weird. I think that might explain that little bit lack of pace as well compared to Hamilton and Norris. His deceleration is just a little bit. Well, yeah, his deceleration is just a lot less compared to everyone else. Interesting. I think who I missed is driving Piastri's McLaren. The HIR is Hirokawa, and he is driving the McLaren. He's a 24 Hours of Le Mans race winner, and he's 30 years old actually, so he's not really the typical age of a rookie, but he's done a lot of racing in endurance in the endurance motorsport world, and he's testing for McLaren. All right, Hadjar improves. He goes up into 5th position. Nice job there from Isaac Hadjar. Currently the highest placed rookie out of all of them. But yeah, of course, not everyone's done soft tyre runs just yet. Okay. Herta is not, I'd just like to confirm, Herta is not driving, and neither is Bortoletto. Yeah. All right. We have Luke Browning driving for Williams. He's done a decent job so far. He's out on some soft tyres, and we'll see if he can set some quick lap times. But the Williams isn't all that quick overall, so we'll just have to wait and see. Russell does go across the line now. 3rd place for him. He's done that on a slightly older set of tyres compared to what Hamilton set his fastest lap on, but nonetheless, a bit of an improvement there for George Russell after having some issues with his brakes. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, we have seven rookies in practice for this weekend. Yeah, 7 rookies. So that means only three teams that don't have rookie drivers currently driving, and those 3 teams are Kick Sauber and Haas and Mercedes. Yeah, every other team has got at least one rookie. Well, has got one rookie driving for them, not at least one. And we're going into the final race of the season in Formula 2. Bortoletto is on 118.5 point, and then we have Isaac Hadjar on 118 points. So both drivers are basically tied on points going into the final race of the season, very similar to Abu Dhabi 2021, and we shall see who comes out on top. Will it be Isaac Hadjar or will it be Gabriel Bortoletto? Bro is Luke Browning. Yeah, that is pretty. It's a nice little acronym there. Okay. All right. Yeah. 41 degrees track temperature, 28 degrees air temperature, 10 kilometers per hour wind. Fairly standard stuff for the free practice one session in Abu Dhabi. We've got 20 minutes left of the session, and Norris currently in first place, Hamilton in second, Russell in third, and K-Mag and Colapinto in fourth and fifth. All right, I'm going to have a quick sip of water. I'll be back in just a second. All right. Yeah, not much else really. Half the drivers are in the pits. The rest of them are on, well, they're on soft tires, but they're doing their hot, soft, well, push lap, cold lap, push lap, slow lap, push lap, slow lap. Yeah, and the soft tires, they do tend to wear out pretty quickly around here, especially given the high track temperature. So on their second runs, they will be setting slower lap times, most likely compared to their first runs. So yeah, not that much improvement on the timing screens as of now. Leclerc, however, does improve. He's on the mediums, and yeah, ninth place for him. Looking good there for Charles Leclerc, but Ferrari are going to have to do something spectacular if they are going to outscore McLaren for the World Constructors' Championship. Currently, they are 21 points behind McLaren in the championship, so they're going to need 22 points more this race weekend if they are going to win the championship by 1 point. And, well, it's going to be a very, very tall order unless there's a DNF for McLaren and Ferrari are in like a 1-2. It's going to be, well, it looks like it's highly unlikely for Ferrari to win this championship. But, you know, I'm sure Ferrari fans will have their fingers crossed, and we shall see what happens. All right. Also, folks, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. Hopefully we can hit 1,000 likes by the end of the live stream. We are 17 minutes away from the end of Free Practice 1. All right. We've got a black and white flag for Luke Browning. I don't know what he's done. I think he might have just blocked another driver by accident or not got out of the way quickly enough. But, yeah, black and white flag for Luke Browning. Not ideal there. Doohan goes across the line. Doohan, in fact, taking part in the whole weekend. Taking part of the whole weekend rather than just a free practice one session like the rest of the rookies. We'll see how he's doing. Currently in 14th place on a set of soft tyres, comparing him to his teammate Pierre Gasly, who's only in 12th place. But of course, Gasly has done that on medium tyres, not softs. So we'll wait and see what Jack Doohan can do compared to Gasly. I mean, I don't think it's really a fair comparison. Pierre Gasly is fantastically on form and was outperforming Ocon quite consistently as well. So, I think Jack Doohan's main aim is not to crash the car. Hopefully, don't be in the bottom 5, but even if he is, it's not really going to matter that much. It's the last race of the season. His seat has been confirmed for next year. And he should be fine regardless. This is just giving him some experience before he goes off into the winter break. All right. Why is Browning allowed to be driving if he only drove in the last 3 F2 races? I think it's because if he still has a Formula, if he has a FIA Super license, he'll still be allowed. He must have done testing in an F1 car before, or actually no, they're allowed to drive in free practice 1 to gain miles in their super license. So the FIA, for you to race in a Formula 1 season, you have to have driven a Formula 1 car for X number of miles before you're allowed to get your super license. And yeah, they are allowed to drive in free practice 1. That's that's a time when drivers without a super license can still, or without the full Formula 1 super license, can still drive to gain some more miles on their license to get a Formula 1 super license. Yeah. Is there a reason for the LEL shortcut, or is it random? Well, LEC has already been taken by Charles Leclerc himself, and then the next letter in Leclerc's surname is LECL. So they've just got rid of the C and put an L instead, and that's how they've got the the three-letter name for Arthur Leclerc. Do you claim to be a chill guy? Yeah, I'm sure I would agree with that. I'm sure I am a chill guy. Yeah. All right. Yeah, we've just got Jack Doohan, Hirakawa, and Leclerc, and one other driver. Who is that? I think it's Pierre Gasly. Yeah, Pierre Gasly on the circuit. Everyone else is still in the garage for 15 minutes left of the session, 14 minutes left of the session. All right, who's driving Max's car? It is Isaac Hadjar, currently currently in second place on the Formula 2 World Championship. He's half a point off his rival in first, and we're going to see who's going to win the Formula 2 World Championship this weekend. It's taking place in Abu Dhabi alongside the Formula 1, and we'll find out who wins it. Do you follow Kim Illman's Formula One content? No, not particularly. I see a couple of his Instagram posts here and there, but not really. Is this a sprint weekend? No, it is not. It is just a standard race weekend, really. 3 practice sessions and then qualifying and the race. How many DRS zones? Just the 2. There'll be a DRS zone between turn number 5 and 6. So in fact, I'll just show you up on the screen. There is a DRS zone between here and here, so on this straight, and there's another DRS zone coming down this straight. There's no DRS zone on the main straight, but it doesn't really matter because you've already got 2 DRS zones on the circuit already. Is this similar to the Max being VES and when Vern was VER? Yeah, that is exactly how it is. They just get rid of any overlapping letters in your surname until you have a non-overlapping letter. What do you think of Arthur Leclerc as a driver? Well, I think he's a pretty good driver. He has won Italian GT this year. I don't think he is quick enough to compete in Formula 1. Clearly, as we saw in Formula 2, he was getting... Yeah, he wasn't up there at the top like his brother was. So, he's found his place in Italian GT, and I think that's good for him. But, yeah, being in Formula 1 is probably not at the level of... Yeah, it's probably not at that level. Which racing games do you play? I play F1 2021. That's the most recent F1 game that I've got. I've got a steering wheel as well, a Thrustmaster TXM, I think, with a pedal set. So, yeah, I play the F1 games on that. And sometimes play Project Cars as well. I have Project Cars 2. So, hop on, do some racing in Formula Renault on, say, Spa or Silverstone, or Barcelona in Catalonia. Yeah, those are the 2 racing games that I play. Alright, Gasly across the line, 4th place for him. Nicely done on those set of soft tyres. And yeah, that shows you the difference between an experienced Formula 1 driver and a rookie. Jack Doohan down in 14th, Pierre Gasly up in 4th. And the pace difference there between the 2 drivers, 1 full second. You should get Assetto Corsa. I do have Assetto Corsa, in fact. I have it on my computer, but the problem is, well, it's just much easier to play on my Xbox because my Xbox is plugged into the TV, and yeah. So, whereas with my computer, I have to load up Steam, and my computer really isn't that good either. It's just a whole big faff. But yeah, I agree with you. Assetto Corsa is pretty good. I have played it in the past, but yeah. Why don't you upload? I mean, there's not really much to upload. If I play the F1 games, I'm just driving around in time trial, trying to beat my previous time. I'm not really much of a career mode person or anything like that. So there's not much to upload. When do Verstappen and Piastri get to practice? All of the other drivers who aren't taking part in practice today, who aren't taking practice in right now, they'll be taking part in free practice 2 and 3. So yeah, they'll have time to practice. And most drivers have driven around the Abu Dhabi circuit enough times. Formula 2 also race here, so the Formula 2 drivers will have driven around here as well. Or when the drivers are in Formula 2, they've driven around here. And yeah, any other driver has driven around the circuit enough times to not need that much practice. How long have you been following Formula One? Who is your favourite non-champion driver? Mine's Barrichello. Okay, well, I've been watching Formula One since 2018 Spa. That was the first race that I watched. Seb Vettel went on to win that race. And yeah, my favourite driver is Seb Vettel. But my favourite non-champion driver, I actually had not thought about that. It's a very good question. I don't know really. Maybe I'd say, whew, maybe Oscar Piastri. I'm not sure really. I haven't. Probably Piastri. I'd say. I like Piastri. Seems like a good guy. But yeah. I should probably think about that a little bit more, and then I'll let you know. Yeah. Oh my God, watch Charles. Yeah, soft tyres. And he goes 2/10 quicker than Lando Norris. Very nicely done. Yeah, well, it looks like Ferraris have got pace this weekend, according to Charles Leclerc's lap times. So we shall wait and see if they can deliver and if they can outscore McLaren in the constructors. All right. Sainz is racing in the GP. Yes, he is. Sainz is just not taking part in the free practice 1 session, so he'll be back for free practice 2 later on today. All right, 7 minutes left of this free practice 1 session. We've got most of the rookies are currently at the bottom of the timings. The highest placed rookie is Isaac Hadjar in 12th position, and yeah, we've got Ayumu Iwasa improves up into 15th place, and we'll see what Hirakawa and Felipe Drogovic and Luke Browning and Arthur Leclerc can all do now. They're on soft tyres, slowly but surely improving, and we'll wait and see what happens with them. Is there a chance the open position in one of the teams will go to Hadjar? Yeah, I mean the thing is, if we consider that Sergio Perez is leaving the team, then it's either Tsunoda or Lawson that go up into Red Bull, unless, if they want to hire someone from the Red Bull Driver Academy, then it's going to be Lawson or Colapinto. If they want to sign Valtteri Bottas, then sure, they can go ahead and do that. But if we consider that they sign Liam Lawson, let's consider they sign Yuki Tsunoda. I mean, not that it really matters, but there'll be 1 seat available in the Racing Bull teams, and that will most likely go to Isaac Hadjar, given that he is on the verge of winning the Formula 2 championship. We don't know if he's going to win or if it's going to be Bortoletto, but regardless, it's either going to be first place or second place, most likely for Isaac Hadjar. So I think that puts him in a pretty good spot to be selected for driver at RB, if one of the drivers were to get promoted up to Red Bull. So that is that's the situation there for Hadjar. So it's he's doing a good job. Of course, he's got the quickest car, I'd say, out of all of the rookies. I mean, maybe Hirakawa's got a quicker car, or Arthur Leclerc has, but yeah, clearly they're not showing all of that pace. Felipe Drogovic goes up into 9th, and in fact now he's the highest placed rookie. And yeah, Hadjar's got to just show that he's quick enough, not going to crash the car too often, and he should be fine to get a seat in Racing Bull. How come Rio is suddenly driving an F1 car? I think he was part of the McLaren test driver team for quite a while now. He drove the 2021 McLaren last year. So the old regulation McLaren for whatever testing purposes, I guess. But I think he's just part of the driver academy and or part of the driver team, the test driver team. So they gave him a ride. I think they gave Pato Award a test in free practice one in one of the earlier races. So they are just just giving some drivers some tests. I think the teams do have some allocations saying that, oh, you do have to give a young driver the opportunity to drive in free practice one at least 2 times or 3 times a year. So I think they're just using those up. It doesn't necessarily have to be a young driver. It just has to be another driver who isn't part of your current team. Okay. Perez did say he's not leaving Red Bull, so is it possible Perez just to stay considering the amount of cash he's bringing? What are your thoughts? Do you think RB will still drop him? I don't know really. There's been so many rumors. Like, he does bring in a lot of money to the team, but then he also doesn't score enough points in the constructors, and then he doesn't deliver. And I don't know. Like, they could keep him, and I'm sure they would still be fine with Verstappen just dominating, but they could also have another quick second driver, and then they could win the constructors as well, or they could at least have a chance of being higher up in the constructors. So yeah, it's an interesting one, really. So many conflicting stories and opinions and news articles. So I don't really know. We'll just have to wait for the official press statement from Red Bull soon enough. All right, 3 minutes left on the clock for free practice one, and we've got all the drivers out on the circuit now. Not everyone is out on soft tyres, but yeah, given that it's free practice one and it's not representative of qualifying race conditions, I think that's fair enough. They aren't pitting for softs because they don't really need to. The track isn't at the correct conditions anyway, so they don't need to go out on soft tires. Yeah. Yeah, that's Rob. Thanks for the message. I think that summarizes it pretty nicely. But yeah, there's only 2 minutes left of the session, so it's all right. Do you think Norris will clutch for fastest lap? I mean, the fastest lap is very far away. Still got to qualify and then do the race, and then Norris has got to have a 20-second gap behind him to go pit for some softs and then get fastest lap. So, yeah, I would say I have no idea what's going to happen in the race and if Norris is going to get fastest lap. We'll just wait and see. All right. Yeah, all 20 drivers out onto the circuit. Quite a busy circuit, but this is one of the longer circuits on the calendar, so traffic shouldn't be too big of an issue, especially given that it's quite a wide circuit, and the drivers do have the ability to get out the way quite nicely. Who is driving for Red Bull? It is Perez and Isaac Hadjar. All right. Yeah. There was an incident between Pierre Gasly, who was noted for failing to slow under yellow flags, but I don't think that's going to be an issue because the yellow flags, I don't think, were properly legit yellow flags. They just popped up for a second and then they popped away for a second as well. So nothing too much to worry about there for Pierre Gasly, and then it's no further investigation as well for him. Very nice. All right then. That'll be the end of free practice one. It looks like nobody is improving. Everyone, all of their timings are all yellow. Everyone's out on pretty old tyres, to be honest. And I don't think we'll be seeing many lap times improving. Ryo Hirakawa improves up into 14th place. Jack Doohan and Oliver and Luke Browning in 19th and 20th. They both are on mediums. Don't expect them to be going any further up as well. And yeah, folks, thank you everyone for tuning in. It's been a pleasure commentating to you guys. I'll see you in a couple hours' time for the start of Free Practice 2. Yeah, so I'll just end the stream now. I'll take you over to the Free Practice 2 stream. So go ahead and just press the reminder button. It'll start in 2 hours and 15 minutes. That's when the stream will start, and the Free Practice 2 session will start in 2.5 hours. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and I'll see you in 2.5 hours.